In the blue half-light over a lonely seamount, a giant oarfish hangs like a living ribbon, conserving every slow movement. Side by side, these giants drift through the dim, each both obstacle and shelter to the other. Around the rocky shoulder of the mount, the ribbon of fish and the lantern of jelly move through the same thin band of life.
From this distance, even these giants shrink to specks, reminders of how thin the strip of habitable water really is.
Its tentacles hang like silk threads, but a single touch is enough to stop a tiny body mid-fin beat.
The oarfish spends its precious strength moving through patches of drifting food, trading slow undulations for mouthfuls of scattered life.
To feed in peace, it must pass through a forest that can sting it as surely as any predator's teeth. Is the twilight forest, drifting bells and a single silver ribbon suspended between the fading light and the black below.
Each tiny flick of its jaw gathers only a mouthful of krill, yet every bite costs muscle and oxygen it cannot waste. Here, a careless brush against what looks like a curtain becomes a slow, silent capture with no chase at all.
Both giant drifters harvest the same thin soup of life, each carving out its share without ever truly seeing the other as an enemy.
Above them, faster hunters shear through the same drifting layer, leaving scraps and shadows that will later fall to those waiting below. Years in the deep leave quiet signatures, scrapes, hitchhikers, and pale scars that mark each narrow escape from teeth and tentacles. Even creatures that seem endlessly drifting carry their own history of storms, collisions, and near misses written into their bodies. Far above and beyond their daily struggle, a larger shadow begins to patrol the boundary between twilight and true dark.
The deeper they follow the slope, the colder and more expensive each movement becomes.
Another hunter moves here too, one that does not drift or browse, but listens for weakness and wasted motion. The shark moves just beyond the tangle of stinging threads, testing angles and scent, weighing the cost of pushing deeper into the forest. Predator, browser, and drifting trap now occupy the same strip of depth, their paths tightening until chance will no longer be able to keep them apart.
In the half-light, one shadow begins to align with another, turning a shared feeding ground into a narrow corridor of risk.
Even without clear sight, the oarfish feels a change, a new weight moving through the water, heavy and deliberate. Even the jelly, indifferent to pursuit, becomes a moving curtain, its slow beat drawing closer to rock as other bodies rush past. Using the jelly forest as both barrier and camouflage, the shark narrows its arc, letting the slower giant drift closer to its teeth. For a few moments, the geometry of the slope, the forest, and the giant fish lines up, pulling all three toward a single point of collision. In a single burst, measured pacing turns into an attack, the shark spending a precious surge of energy on the promise of one long mouthful. To live, it must choose the lesser pain, scratches of venom over the crushing certainty of the shark's bite. The forest explodes into fragments as the shark forces its way through, shredding bells and tangling itself in threads meant for smaller prey. Seen from afar, their desperate struggle becomes just a knot of turbulence, tugged back and forth by gravity and hunger. It escapes by shaving away pieces of itself, skin and mucus smeared on stone, where a larger body cannot follow. The shark pays for its attempt with clogged gills and stung skin, snapping off strands of jelly that now drift uselessly away. With the chase spent, only tired flesh and torn tissue remain, and the deep quickly begins to pull both toward stillness again. Very quickly, the aftermath blends into the rest of the slope, another place where bits of broken bodies join the endless rain from above.
What the giants tear loose does not vanish. It breaks into smaller meals, feeding countless lives.
The forest repairs itself, one bell at a time. New jellies drift.
Scarred and slightly bent, it resumes its slow patrol of the slope, passing once more through the same drifting bells that both shielded and burned it.
The giants are only part of a larger pattern, their scars and hunger woven into a web of smaller movements.
For a heartbeat, the oarfish and the jelly share the same narrow slice of water.
After the violence, the slope returns to what it has always been, A crowded margin where many different lives balance risk against reward in their own ways.
As night thickens above, the whole community climbs, spending still more energy to reach a slightly richer band of drifting food.
Out here, their lives, wounds, and narrow escapes are only tiny threads in the fabric.